The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning. It is 5 a.m. on this Tuesday morning. I'm Alex Fisher alongside Elena Rusk. Happy first day of summer.
Thank you so much. I'm just so honored. I'm just kidding. It's hot. New this morning on Sunrise, an update to a story we've been following for more than a year here at 17. A woman who told our cameras in an exclusive interview that she killed her kids has pleaded not guilty to their murders. Now, you may remember this story from last spring. Liliana Carrillo is charged with killing her 3 children last April in Reseda. However, she was arrested in Kern County for allegedly stealing a pickup after the crime. 17 News exclusively spoke with Carrillo in jail following her arrest.
Did you kill your children?
I did. Now, she broke down in tears as she told 17 News she drowned her 3 children to protect them from their father. She alleged he was involved in human trafficking. Despite admitting to the killing, Carrillo pleaded not guilty to the murder charges, and she's due back in court in late August. Now, if you'd like to learn more about this story, head over to our website, kget.com.
In your 17 Court Watch, newly released court documents reveal at least one shooting outside a local reception venue last month was gang-related. There were 2 shootings May 22nd at the Palazzo reception venue in downtown Bakersfield. According to police, one shooting caught on surveillance video shows Gary Lee Clayton and another man exchanging gang signs with another man when he approaches. Clayton fires a single shot, then he and his companion run off, according to reports. Someone comes outside the venue and shoots into the front window of the business. 2 men were wounded. In addition to Clayton, Anthony Felix and Bobby West were also arrested. All 3 are charged with gang participation, attempted murder, and other charges.
Well, today marking 18 months since Orrin and Orson West were reported missing from the California City home of their adoptive parents, Jacqueline and Trezell West. The boys presumed dead, but their remains have never been found. Now, 2 new civil lawsuits have been filed in connection to the case of the boys' biological family. 17's Christian Galeno reports.
Another legal battle involving brothers Orrin and Orson West has now sparked between biological mother Ryan Dean, her family, the county, and the state.
The state created danger. And my clients feel that they want to make sure that this doesn't happen to another family.
A federal lawsuit seeking $40 million is now filed on behalf of Dean and maternal grandmother Dana Moore, where they allege civil rights violations. The suit names as defendants the State Department of Social Services, Kern County Human Services, the West, and others.
We believe that the government, Kern County and the state did not follow the federal mandates here in this case, which resulted in the deaths of the children.
In April, McCoy filed a claim on behalf of Dean and Moore. Since then, McCoy says the county rejected the claim and instead delegated the matter to council, the state also failing to respond. According to the federal suit, Dean filed reunification requests and completed parenting classes to regain custody, and even filed numerous complaints with the Kern County Human Services, but Dean believes they did nothing in response.
In the United States, the rule is preserving the family unit. So why didn't Kern County or the state seek to keep this family together?
Trailing behind them, biological grandfather Leif Dean also filing a civil claim against Kern County. In this, he argues that the children were wrongfully removed from their parents' home. Grandfather Dean's claim seeks an amount in excess of $25,000, and representing him is the same attorney representing Charles and Brenda Pettis, biological father and grandmother to the boys. For 17 News, I'm Christian Galeno.
Now, the boys' adoptive parents, Jacqueline and Trezell West, are charged with murder and other offenses in this case. Their trial is scheduled to begin next month. Of course, we have been following this case from the onset. For full coverage, including exclusive interviews, breaking news updates, and the latest on these new lawsuits, head over to our website, kget.com.
5:06 is our time now, and police have arrested a man they say broke into a Southwest Bakersfield home and attacked a woman while she was showering. It happened Friday afternoon on Park Bend Court near Wilson and Plans Roads. Investigators say 59-year-old Kyler Kuehl broke into the home, armed with a hatchet, and went into a bathroom where the woman was in the shower. They say there was a struggle between the two, and that's when a relative came home and was able to fight the attacker off and hold him until police could arrive. Police say the woman was wounded in the attack. Kuehl was placed under arrest on charges of attempted rape during a burglary offense, attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and first-degree burglary. He is expected to appear in court later today. In Washington now, the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack will hold its fourth public hearing today. The committee will focus on what they say was an effort by former President Donald Trump and his allies to pressure state election officials to overturn their 2020 election results. Here's NBC's Chris Pallone.
Today, the January 6th committee turns its focus to what it contends was a pressure campaign to force two key battleground states to overturn their 2020 election results, states Joe Biden won.
The whole effort to pressure these state legislatures and legislators was premised on a big lie about massive fraud that didn't exist.
Expected to appear Georgia's Republican Secretary of State, who was on this infamous hour-long recorded call with the president after the state's vote was certified.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
One of the things I'll be looking for is what was Donald Trump's knowledge before that phone call, and what other conversations did they have with Brad Raffensperger besides the call.
Also expected to testify, Arizona's Republican House Speaker, who will be asked about attempts to send a false slate of pro-Trump electors to Washington on January 6th.
A lifelong Republican, he was a Trump voter and a Trump supporter, but he wouldn't violate the law.
The former president, in a speech Friday, still sticking to his election fraud lie while mocking his former vice president.
Mike Pence had absolutely no choice but to be a human conveyor belt. Here's a human conveyor belt, even if the votes were fraudulent.
He's essentially saying, yeah, I did it and I'll do it again.
The committee will hold another public hearing Thursday. Another person expected to testify today, an Atlanta area poll worker who has received threats after former President Trump singled her out by name several times. In Washington, Chris Pallone, NBC News.
And this morning's hearing is scheduled to begin at 10 o'clock, and you'll be able to watch it live right here on 17 News.
Well, America bracing for a Supreme Court ruling that could overturn Roe v. Wade and change abortion rights in the U.S. for decades. That ruling involving a Mississippi case could come any day now. Protesters have been outside the Supreme Court for weeks in anticipation of this ruling. We already have a good idea of how the justices might rule. That's because a leaked draft opinion published by Politico in May showed a conservative majority on the court appearing ready to overturn Roe. And a big Supreme Court ruling often comes down in June.
5:32 is our time now, and President Biden is weighing a federal gas tax holiday ahead of the 4th of July weekend. The move would mean we could potentially see an 18-cent a gallon drop in price. President Biden says he should make a decision about the tax holiday by the end of the week. The president says he is awaiting necessary data while he considers a pause on the gas tax. Some are criticizing the proposal, saying it could take funds away from roadway projects across the nation. According to AAA, the national average price for a gallon of gas is just under $5 a gallon. But for us here in California, it is $6.39.
All right, so that's how federal lawmakers are addressing the rising price of gas. Meantime, state lawmakers forming a special committee to investigate our high prices. It's been tried before, but no smoking gun, if you will. This comes as Californians are paying nearly 40% more for gas than we were 4 months ago. 17's Ashley Zavala explains the new effort.
The announcement of this committee comes as state lawmakers and Governor Gavin Newsom continue to negotiate relief promised in response to those rising gas prices months ago. This group wants to look into long-term responses to the prices you're seeing at the pump.
Californians need more than Band-Aid relief from high gas prices.
Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon announcing the new Select Committee on Gas Supply and Prices to determine if Californians are being price gouged at the pump.
Democratic Assemblymember Jackie Irwin will lead the bipartisan committee.
Answer the question on everybody's mind: why do gas prices continue to rise? And that is exactly the mission of this committee.
Gas prices in California are hovering at around $6.40 per gallon, according to AAA. Lawmakers note the price of oil has fallen.
That does not track with where the gas prices are at the pump.
But groups like the California Business Roundtable note the cause of gas price increases have been investigated repeatedly with no evidence of price fixing. The prices, they say, are a result of the state's regulations. In a statement, the group said, if the legislature is going to find solutions, it must first be honest with itself about where the problem truly lies. The formation of the committee comes as Governor Newsom and state lawmakers continue to negotiate the logistics of sending direct payments back to taxpayers for relief. Both sides say talks were productive over the weekend, but still no deal yet. The governor's proposal would send $400 debit cards to car owners, while the legislative proposal would send $200 checks to those making less than $125,000.
All those have different timelines, but it'll be certainly something before October.
Republicans and some Democrats have been calling for a suspension of the state's 51-cent gas tax and a halt to the 3-cent inflationary increase to the tax set to go into effect in less than 2 weeks. Republicans called the committee political theater.
They're trying to distract Californians with this political stunt. But at the end of the day, we know why gas prices are higher in California. It's taxes, it's fees, it's mandates.
A date has not yet been set for the committee's first hearing. Also, state lawmakers will be on a month-long break from the state capitol starting July 1st, and it's unclear if the committee plans to meet during that time. Reporting at the state capitol, Ashley Zavella, 17 News.
All right, so let's compare all of those current gas prices this morning. According to AAA, the national average for a price of a gallon of gas falling just slightly, now at $4.96. But California's state average still at $6.38. What does that mean for us here in Kern County? Our average, $6.36. Now, our website will track the lowest prices in the Bakersfield area for you, thanks to GasBuddy.com. Today, that lowest price, $5.69 at the On-the-Go food store on River Boulevard in Northeast Bakersfield. But those prices do change often, so you can find the lowest price at a station near you on our website, kget.com.
Demolition has begun on the old Greyhound bus station in downtown Bakersfield. The station on 18th Street was built back in 1958. In 2020, it was sold to Church Plaza LLC for about $1.2 million. The plan is to build a 4-story apartment complex in its place. The Bakersfield City Council in March approved a 10-year lease for Greyhound to move its operation to the Amtrak station just a few blocks away on Truxton Avenue. And now to Houston, Texas, where a 5-year-old child is dead after being left in a hot car for several hours. Officials said the child, a sibling, and their mother had returned home from running errands, and after 2 to 3 hours, the mother noticed the 5-year-old was not in the home and began looking. She checked the car and found the child unresponsive, still buckled in a car seat. The mother immediately called 911 and EMS pronounced the child dead. Officials say, according to the mother, the child knew how to unbuckle themselves from the car seat and had done so before. They also noted that the family was driving in a rental vehicle, but it is unclear if that was a factor in the child's death. The investigation continues.
So you may be asking yourself, how does this happen? Most cases are tragic accidents, especially as a parent or caregiver changes up a daily routine unexpectedly. So what can you do? Well, according to the NHTSA, they recommend these tips. Get in the habit of always looking inside your car before locking the doors. Remember, park, look, lock. The second leading cause of vehicular heat stroke is children getting into unattended vehicles. So always lock your car doors and your trunk. Never leave a child alone in a parked car, even with the windows rolled down or the air conditioning on. If you see a child alone in a vehicle, make sure the child is okay and responsive. If not, call 911 immediately. If the child is not responsive and appears to be in distress, attempt to get into the car to help the kid, even if that means breaking a window. California does have Good Samaritan laws that protect people from lawsuits for getting involved to help someone in an emergency. And I do a handful of things because we're always scrambling around, right? Our routine is always changing. I put my shoe in the back with the kiddos. I'm not going to walk around on hot pavement barefoot. I also put my phone and my keys back there. Can't get out without those things and the kids.
You know, a lot of people, they hear these sorts of stories and they go, how could that happen? That would never happen to me. But the problem is every time we do these stories, the mother, the father, whoever's involved, there's always that infamous quote, this could have never happened to me.
Yeah.
And so it's a good reminder. I mean, we have to take these necessary steps. Sometimes it seems almost like unnecessary, but like I'm not going to forget my kid in the back seat of the car. But again, it could literally mean the difference between life and death.
And it only has to be 80 degrees outside.
That's a good reminder, yeah. And again, today, over 100.
Yeah.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.